This episode is sponsored by HelloFresh. Looking to make home cooking easier? Try HelloFresh, America's #1 meal kit. They deliver fresh ingredients and chef-crafted recipes right to your door. And this fall, they're serving up even more to love. HelloFresh's new menu is bigger, greener, and tastier, with over 100 options to choose from each week, including seasonal dishes, veggie-packed recipes, and even steak or seafood options at no extra cost. So what are you waiting for? Go to HelloFresh.com/command10FM now to get 10 free meals plus a free breakfast for life. That's HelloFresh.com/command10FM.
Greetings, humans. You have entered the Command Zone, your destination for all aspects of Elder Dragon Highlander. Enjoy your stay.
Hello, everybody, and welcome back to another episode of the Command Zone podcast. I'm your host, Rachel Weeks.
I'm Jimmy Wong.
And today, we are building some avatar decks. Woo!
Yeah, they did not have Commander precons for the avatar set. No idea why. We're going to do something instead to help fill that gap. Yeah. Well, Rachel's going to do something. I got to give all the credit to the amazing Rachel Weeks here.
So we built 4 full deck lists for 4 different commanders that we thought would be really popular, trying to represent all of the different nations in this one. First, we're starting with the most powerful Katara, in my opinion. She can draw out her entire deck.
Whoa.
We're also going to be doing an Iroh deck, a generous, hilarious deck. It's going to be really fun. The third one is a Toph deck. This is a lands deck like you have never seen before. I'm very excited about this one in particular. And a 5-color all-avatar Aang deck.
Yeah, the card that a lot of people are really excited about.
Absolutely. So we're going to be doing some bending today, and we're going to get started with the very first deck, which is Mono Blue, Katara, Waterbending Master.
1 in the blue for a 1/3 legendary creature, human warrior ally. Whenever you cast a spell during an opponent's turn, you get an experience counter. Ooh. Whenever Katara attacks, you may draw a card for each experience counter you have. If you do, discard a card. Okay. Experience counters, we're back.
Experience counters, we are back. So this is a bracket 2 flashy style deck that uses like instant speed, tricks, and disruption to build up an army of experience counters so that when you attack, you draw a whole ton of cards. We also have some proliferation effects that load up those experience counters all on their own and make sure that your hand is always full.
Yeah, she's a 1/3. She'll be able to attack safely maybe once. And then afterwards, everyone's going to go, never do that again. So
we've got some evasion. Don't worry.
Yeah, get her a little buffer. Yeah.
First things first, we need to cast some stuff on your opponent's turns. The best way to do this is just instant speed cantrips. There's a really cute Consider with Uncle Iroh on it. I think that's a must include in this deck.
Yeah, the art is on screen right now. It's great. Zuko's in the back. Iroh's looking at a little flower. Delectable tea or deadly poison. Yeah, there's a ton of cards in blue that do this, obviously, and you can cast multiple spells throughout the turn rotation, so you can get multiple experience counters. Opt, Experimental Augury.
Experimental Augury is particularly good because it gives you an experience counter and then proliferates that experience counter. Pretty sweet. The second thing you need to do in this deck is give her evasion because she is a 1/3 and is going to have a tough time attacking safely. So cantrips like Shadow Rift or Leap are both instants that draw a card and either give her Shadow or Flying respectively.
Yeah, I really like Sword Coast Sailor. It's a background card. It says commander creatures you own have. Whenever this creature attacks a player, if no opponents have more life than that player, this creature can't be blocked this turn.
Nice. Easy, unblockable every turn. Access Tunnel is another good one. You're in a monocolored deck, so you have a little bit of space for utility lands, and this is a perfectly good one. It makes your little commander unblockable.
Yeah. And of course, because you get experience counters, these exist outside of the game pretty much, so that no one can mess with them, but you can proliferate them and make them go up, 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 so you can draw. I mean, geez, when you're attacking with Katara, what you want to draw like 5 cards?
You absolutely
6,
can.
10.
Yeah.
11.
I mean, if you proliferate enough, like if you have something like a Flux Channeler on the battlefield that says whenever you cast a non-creature spell, proliferate, that means you're likely getting an experience counter from Katara and then proliferating it with the Flux Channeler.
Just drawing like crazy.
Seems pretty sweet.
Yeah, I love Dreamtide Whale. It's a 2 in the blue little whale. It has Vanishing too, so it will go away. But whenever a player casts their second spell, each turn proliferate. So you're going to definitely do this. Your opponents likely will do it. Mm-hmm. And so this whale will stick around forever, and it will just keep proliferating and just be a huge 3-mana 7/5 too, which is really fun.
Yeah, this thing is a moose. Actually, it's
No,
a
it's a
whale.
whale.
Another one that I thought was really cute in this deck is the new from Spider-Man. It's Chameleon Master of Disguise. This is 3 in a blue. It is a clone that allows you to get around the legendary rule because it keeps Chameleon's name, but it also has Mayhem 2 and a blue.
Oh,
So you can
yeah.
cast it for 3 mana if you discard it off of your commander's discard ability. This is another way to load up on experience counters really fast.
Yeah. Have 2 of them out.
Because you have 2, so you're getting twice the number of experience counters. You could fill this deck with a couple of the legendary clones, like Spark Double, that kind of thing, to load up on those experience counters and have the opportunity to drop twice as many cards.
Yeah, because Katara doesn't do anything without experience counters and having the ability to attack. So you want to be able to play her, get an experience counter, and make sure you untap with her before you get going, right?
Yeah, that's a huge thing. I think like when you have a 2-mana commander, your first inclination is to play her on turn 2.
Yeah.
But if you untap with her on turn 2, she won't have any experience counters, so she won't draw anything.
Right,
so I think you're probably not playing Katara until turn 3 or turn 4 once you have a cantrip in your hand and can get those experience counters loaded up.
Yeah, that makes a lot of sense.
Don't necessarily spew Katara. She is a super scary commander, so if your opponents have the opportunity to kill her, they will, especially if you don't get any experience counters.
Yeah, and it requires her to attack, so it's very known to the table what you're going to do. And you're like, play Katara, I have 7 experience counters, I'd like to go to combat. So make sure you can at least get there.
Yeah, the strategy is really specific here because you're putting a lot of your eggs in the experience basket. Luckily, your experience counters don't go away, so you can always recast Katara and you don't have to start from 0. But you still want a lot of protection in this deck. So that could come in the form of counter spells. That could come in the form of like 1-mana hexproof spells.
Blink spells.
We have either of those in the deck. My favorite is Slip Out the Back because it puts a +1 counter on her. So that's another good thing to proliferate. But keep in mind that she is really scary. So don't make her a combat threat in addition to a card draw threat until you definitely have the protection to keep her on the battlefield.
Yeah, you can usually get by with doing her attack once. Someone takes some damage, you draw a bunch of cards. And on later turns when people realize, oh no, this is an engine that it's okay if it happens once, maybe twice, but beyond that, we have to get rid of it. So the protection is important.
Absolutely. But the strategy here is draw a ton of cards, have so many cards, and then your deck has a very low curve, so you're trying to deploy as many of them as possible, likely on your opponent's turns because you have a lot of payoffs that benefit from that.
Yep.
But let's talk about how this deck wins the game, because these kind of blue draw decks can have a little bit of trouble actually closing things out.
Yeah, it makes sense. So defending yourself is a really important one. Stopping incoming damage. This one, my earliest favorite cards from Commander, Fogbank. Just like a 1 in the blue flyer defender, and it just prevents all combat damage that will be dealt to and dealt by this creature.
Oh yeah,
the permanent little fog on a stick, I guess.
Yeah,
creature, I guess.
I mean, it just sits there and chills and says, "You can attack me, but it's not going to have the effect that you really want it to."
Yeah.
Another one that works really well with the proliferate in the deck is Lulu Stern Guardian. This is from Final Fantasy. It's 2 in a blue for a legendary creature human wizard. Whenever an opponent attacks you, choose target creature attacking you. Put a stun counter on that creature. And then she says 3 in a blue proliferate.
Nice.
So you can stun one of the creatures attacking you and make sure that it doesn't untap. It will still get to hit you. Like it is attacking you, it gets the counter, but it doesn't untap on its next turn. So you can really slow down that incoming damage.
Now, do you want to just one-shot people with Katara here as the Waterbending Master? What's the idea?
I think if you're going for like a combat damage win con, it kind of has to be all at once because once you're drawing all of those cards, they're going to want to kill her. And then that's when you can start loading her up when you have that protection. So stuff like Wizard's Class or Astrologian's Planisphere are both +1/+1 counter engines. Wizard's Class takes a little bit to level up. When you play it, you have no maximum hand size, great. And then you level up, you draw 2 cards. And when you level up the 3rd time, whenever you draw a card, put a +1 counter on target creature you control. So that is when it gets really serious. Because when you attack and you draw 6 cards, you put 6 counters on Katara. And now suddenly those unblockable tricks don't look so silly anymore.
Doesn't even have to be Katara. You could have a random flyer in the deck that can grab it. Cards like Hraesvelgr of the First Blood, another Final Fantasy ad.
There's a lot of Final Fantasy cards in this one, actually.
Yeah, it turns out that the water element, and Final Fantasy games have a lot of water in them too, so it makes sense. This is a creature that when it enters the battlefield, and whenever you cast a non-creature spell, target creature gets +1/+0 until end of turn. It can't be blocked this turn.
It's like a pseudo unblockable. Well, it's an unblockable and a pseudo prowess effect that is on this dragon that you could also put a ton of counters on because it has vigilance and ward and flying. So it can be a secondary threat.
Yeah, so you can target it itself with the unblockable, but likely you're going to be doing it to Katara just so you can make sure that she can attack and draw the cards. And then you're casting so many spells on that big turn to just swing in. It's like chipping away a bunch, and then occasionally Katara. There are, I would say, commander damage wins with this deck, but because everyone has spot removal, it is going to be a little more difficult to pull that one off.
There is also alternate win cons that you can put in this deck. Any deck that can draw a ton of cards, you start looking at cards like 20-Toed Toad that says when the toad attacks, you win the game if there are 20 or more counters on it, or you have 20 or more cards in hand.
Ooh.
Not to mention when it attacks, it draws a card and puts a counter on itself. So it's a good thing for you to proliferate. It's a good threat to sort of spread out your opponent's removal. And it can eventually win the game once you've drawn a bajillion cards.
What about Triskaidekaphile? One in the blue. At the beginning of your upkeep, you have exactly 13 cards in your hand. You win the game.
Yeah.
Drain the blue, draw a card.
This is a nice little creature just to sit on the board and, again, spread out that removal. Your opponents can't really let this just chill there because you do have the opportunity to draw so many cards.
Yeah.
Finally, Prologue to Phyresis is perfect in this deck. It's 1 in a blue for an instant. Each opponent gets a poison counter. Draw a card.
Yeah, proliferate that. Get everyone up to 10. Each player getting one is so nice. So you don't have to go after one player at a time. You can do everyone at the same time.
It's a cantrip, and it turns that proliferation engines into an actual threat, which is huge.
Yeah. So when your deck is dead and Katara's been killed 1,000 times, you can just Prologue to Phyresis and go for that win con instead.
Absolutely.
I love it.
All right, the final thing we're going to talk about in this deck is the splurges. This is where the majority of the budget is going, and they're often cards that are either very powerful on their own or very powerful in this deck. This most expensive card in the deck as we built it was Fairy Mastermind. This is a $19 card, and if you've ever played with Fairy Mastermind, you know why.
Great card.
It has Flash is the big thing here, so it gives her an experience counter, and it's another great draw engine.
Yeah, and you also have Snapcaster Mage as a splurge, which is $18, just a little bit less. And this is great. Rebuy one of your spells. You get double the trigger for both flashing out the Snapcaster Mage and then casting whatever it is from your graveyard that turn with flashback.
And finally, Brotherhood Regalia is sitting at $10. This is unblockable and protection. This card is really good and is only getting more expensive because it's from Assassin's Creed, so who knows when we'll see it again.
Yeah, I love that card.
That brings the total budget of the deck to $197.50.
Right under the radar. Look at you go. That's awesome.
Roughly around $200. We want these decks to feel not insurmountable, but if you don't want to spend $200 on it right away, then cutting any of those splurges will get you a long way toward it being more affordable. If you want to see the full deck list, that'll be in the show notes in the description below. Check that out on ARCHIDEKT.
Yeah, if you love drawing cards, build Katara. This is a fun one, mono blue. It's not crazy oppressive. You can obviously tailor it a bit, one direction or the other, but I like this a lot. Of course, if you want to build your own decks and just pile them up yourself and do your own version of Katara that's outside of Rachel's build, you could also go to cardkingdom.com/command where you can paste in your own entire deck list or the one from ARCHIDEKT and get the entire thing ready to go right then and there. And you can even choose the different versions, printings, foilings, whatever you want of the card with our advanced deck builder. Cardkingdom.com/command is the place that we trust for all of our own collections when it comes to stuff like Game Nights Live. We rely on them to make sure we get the cards in time for the shows. So we love them. We've been using them for a long time. They are a big retailer with a ton of product and a ton of great customer service, and of course the convenience of getting everything in one single package can't be beat. Cardkingdom.com/command is the affiliate link to go to if you want to support the show and buy some cards because you're going to build some decks.
Yeah. And once you have those decks in your hand, you're going to need sleeves to protect them. Go to ultrapro.com/command. They've got sleeves, they've got deck boxes, they've got playmats, binders, wall scrolls, card sorters, everything that you need to be a well-organized and well-accessorized Magic player. Plus, they've got the officially licensed art, so if you're really into one set or another, make sure you've checked out Ultra Pro because they've got all of, usually a line per set comes out. They look really good, they look really cool. Plus, they've got their own very sharp lines like the Mana 8 product that are just all white and got the mana symbols on it.
So
very
fresh.
slick. And support the show if you use our affiliate link at ultrapro.com/command.
And don't miss out right now. We have a Kickstarter running for a brand new playmat that's also printed by Ultra Pro.
Yeah.
This is the Dueling Dragons design by Justine Jones. These playmats are so freaking cool.
They're so freaking cool.
They're so cool. They play well. If you buy both of them, they link up against each other and they look insane on the battlefield. Just one by themselves as well. One is growth, one is decay. We have spot foiling versions of them, which have these really crazy little like details foiled out that make them look really special. And we also have signed versions at the Kickstarter. You can only get it for a limited time on the Kickstarter, so make sure that you lock in that order. Otherwise, you will miss out when the Kickstarter ends. We always have people messaging us afterwards being like, how can I get this deck box, playmat, whatever it is. If you miss the Kickstarter, it's your best chance to get it. So they run for a limited time. We do that so that we can know how many to order, so we can order it and get it out to you as quickly as possible. So go to the Kickstarter. The link's in the show notes. There should be a QR code on the screen as well right now. We haven't done the playmat in a while, and we've been saving it up for a really special one, and this one is truly special. I cannot wait to play with this and see this at MagicCons across the table for me.
And you can support us directly by going to patreon.com/commandzone. It's always very, very helpful. Plus, we shout out one lucky patron every single podcast episode. And this one is dedicated to Kevin Bennett.
Bennett.
Kevin, you rock.
You do rock.
Kevin! It's not the holidays yet.
It's almost.
Almost. It's close.
Is Nightmare Before Christmas a Christmas movie or a Halloween movie?
Oh, it's a November movie. It's right in between, baby.
Perfect answer.
It's when you're not allowed to watch your horror movies anymore, but it's not quite time for It's like November is 17th.
And there aren't that many good like Thanksgiving movies, honestly.
No.
Yeah.
Thanksgiving.
Not really. Yeah. It's just Halloween.
Speaking of giving, this next commander is Iroh Tea Master.
I love it.
A perfect transition. 1 a red and white for a legendary creature, human citizen ally. When Iroh enters, create a food token, a little tea.
Yeah, there are tea tokens. They're so cute.
And then at the beginning of combat on your turn, you may have target opponent gain control of target permanent you control. When you do, create a 1/1 white ally creature token, put a +1 counter on that token for each permanent you own that your opponents control. He's giving it away.
A donation deck. It's so cute.
Yes.
Yeah.
So this is very much like a bracket 2 fun-loving Iroh deck. You're trying to give treats to your opponents to make more friends and specifically allies. It is a little bit of group hug, but plenty of ways to actually close out the game, which is how I prefer to build decks like Iroh.
Yeah. And you're obviously not just giving away food tokens, you're going to give away some spicier stuff as well. But let's talk about the tasty treats first.
Giving away. So the first thing I thought of when I was going to build this deck is you actually want just to give them food, because that's so fun and charming to be like, here's 3 bowls of porridge.
Ooh.
This one's actually really good.
Yeah.
Because it's 2 mana for an artifact food, of course, and it's 2 tap. Choose one that hasn't been chosen this turn. It deals 2 damage to target creature. You can tap target creature, or you can sacrifice it and you gain 3 life. So you probably kill a creature with this. Maybe you tap something and then you give away the 3rd bowl of porridge, and they can crack it for a food token if they'd like to later.
Yeah.
But mostly it's just sort of like an empty thing that you can give away and get a little bit of a benefit from.
Yeah, right. Because again, you're going to put 1/1 counters on those allies whenever you give stuff away. You also have some instant ramen. It's so perfect.
It's so cute.
It's so perfect. Yeah, maybe there's not instant ramen in Avatar, but they definitely have ramen.
They definitely do. And, maybe Iroh combined tea and ramen, right? Into one cup.
Heck yeah.
Very
the Fire Nation
innovative.
is definitely the closest to the Japanese nation as well, so ramen makes perfect sense here too.
I love it so much.
When this artifact enters, draw a card, and then you can pay 2 and sacrifice it to gain 3 life. It's a cantrip on food, so it's just a playable card, right? You can put it into literally any deck in the world. It just happens to be so beautiful here.
It's cute. Also, carrot cake.
That's definitely an Iroh would be like, have a carrot cake.
Have a carrot cake.
Whoa.
It comes in, it makes a rabbit. It's when it enters and when you sacrifice it, it makes a rabbit, and it's a clue, so it has the clue ability. So these are like nice things to give to your opponent, right? They're kind of funny and be like, here, a little snack for you.
Right.
And in the meantime, you're just making yourselves little blockers, little threats.
Yeah.
There's also things you can give away that just sort of don't mean anything if they have them.
Yeah, you call them hollow gifts. I love that.
Still like symmetrical effects like a Howling Mine, where it's like you're going to have the same effect on the battlefield whether you control it or somebody else does.
Yeah, you're happy to give this away. It doesn't matter who has it. The effects happens.
Yeah. Prison Sentence I thought was a very flavorful one.
Oh.
but this is essentially, it's a pacifism effect. So it's an aura that enchants a creature, and it says it can't attack, it can't block, its activated abilities can't be activated, and when it enters, you scry.
Scry 2, yeah.
Yeah. So
you can play this on an opponent's creature. When you give it away, does it stay on the creature?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's just not yours anymore.
Yeah, it's fine.
And it's Zuko's prison. It's like he's an exile.
Well, Iroh has a long prison sentence
that's right.
too.
That's right. Oh my gosh.
He gets super buff in it. It's like post life, but it's fine. But so you get the scry and you give it away, and it's removal that you don't really have to keep in mind.
Yeah, I really like Noble's Purse that you put on here too. This is an artifact that enters tapped with 3 coin counters on it. You can tap to remove the coin counters, and then you create treasures. So once you're done with that, you give away the purse. It's perfect. Yeah. Uncle Iroh shopping with a Noble's Purse. Yeah, he takes all the money. He's like, oh, well, this bag is nice.
Anytime I look at gifting decks, like donation decks, I think about re-gifting effects, which is stealing something from one player and giving it to another. Okay. So stuff like Ariad's Tempting Apple is cute for a couple of reasons. First of all, it's a food. But when it enters the battlefield, you gain control of target creature until end of turn. Untap that creature, it gains haste until end of turn. Then you can sacrifice it to gain 3 life or sack it to have target opponent lose 3 life. So this is food that you can donate the apple. That's fine. Sure. But mostly you steal a creature from the player who's ahead and give it to somebody else. And then at the end of turn, it tries to give it back, but you don't have it anymore.
Oh, so it's just gone forever.
So it just belongs to the player you gave it to.
Wow, that is very political.
It's very political. It can buy you a little bit of favor, and it's removal that's like just kind of funny and cheeky. So I definitely wanted to put Claim the Firstborn in here. Yeah, first of all, because the flavor's really good. Zuko's the Firstborn. But also just 1 mana to like, I'm going to take your Professional Facebreaker and give it to the player that can't use it that much.
That's so funny.
Is really clever and can make for a good friend at the table.
I guess Iroh kind of did have to claim the Firstborn when he had to go in exile with Zuko. It's kind of like his kid.
It basically is. He thinks of him as a father by the end.
Yeah, love the threat and effects here. Right.
Allies is a sub-theme in the deck as well.
Yeah, so Iroh does care about allies. He makes allies when you give away permanents, and then you put little counters on it.
And the deck does need some kind of win con. So you're storing up these allies over the course of a couple of turns. You're trying not to draw a ton of threats because you're just giving away food, that kind of thing. But in the late game, you can play something like Appa the Vigilant. This is 5 white for a legendary creature bison ally. He is flying in Vigilance, and he's a 6/6. Whenever Appa or another ally you control enters, creatures you control get +1/+1, gain flying, and Vigilance.
Nice.
So this is really nice. It comes down. It means that like all of your creatures are bigger, and you get a free attack on somebody.
Yeah.
Because the evasion means that they're not going to really be able to block it, and the Vigilance means you don't lose any of your defense either.
Yeah, and every single turn when you give something away with Iroh, Appa's going to trigger again. This is like play Appa, swing out, kill 1 player, gets back to your turn. Appa will trigger again when Iroh gives something away, buffs up that thing, and then boom, you swing in at 1 more person and kill them out.
Yeah, this is a nice little effect. Expensive, but on flavor and quite powerful.
Yeah, for bracket 2 especially.
Yeah.
It's Appa.
It's Appa. The other one that I think is pretty cool is Tuk Tuk Scrapper.
Oh my gosh, yes.
Because you're giving them artifacts.
Card. Yeah, and you've got allies coming in and kill stuff.
Every turn?
Yeah, so Tuk Tuk Scrapper, this is a classic. This was like the first time I saw this was when I built my old KICKSTARTER deck.
Oh, sick.
Whenever Tuk Tuk Scrapper or another ally enters the battlefield, you can destroy a target artifact. Boop, boop. And then if an artifact is put into a graveyard this way, Tuk Tuk Scrapper deals damage to that artifact's controller equal to the number of allies you control. It's a win con.
It's a win
con. And you're killing the foods.
So you're killing the artifacts that you give them.
Or better artifacts.
Or better artifacts, yeah. You probably don't really want to kill their instant ramen. It does make your allies smaller. But you guarantee that they have artifacts to get rid of, and you're storing up a whole bunch of allies. The next thing I wanted to mention is other effects that donate are good in the deck. I wouldn't load up on this kind of effect, but they do make your allies bigger. So if you have something like a Pumpkin Bombs, this is an artifact that discard 2 cards. Tap, discard 2 cards, draw 3 cards, then put a fuse counter on it. Deals damage equal to the number of fuse counters on it to target opponent. They gain control of this artifact. So this is like a cathartic reunion that belongs to somebody else. So they can use it and they can move it around, and that's fine and good. But in the meantime, all of your allies are a counter bigger. And I found that like when you play Iroh, If you just do his give donation effects, they're very small and it takes a very long time for them to be sort of meaningful sized. So I would include a couple of these things that give them away. Plus, they're very much on flavor. This also keeps you being the friend at the table.
Does it? Passing the pumpkin bombs around?
Passing the pumpkin bombs around.
Yeah,
But think of pumpkin bombs as drinks.
Sure.
Rather than literal bombs.
Yeah, a gourd.
Yeah. Another one that was Hithlane Rope. This is 2 mana for an artifact. It can't be sacrificed. It's 1 tap, search a library for a basic land, put it onto the battlefield, tap, then shuffle, and the player to your right gains control of it. Then it's 2 tap, draw a card, the player to your right gains control of it. So your opponents can get ramp out of it. They can also draw cards out of it. But in the meantime, the rope is just sort of slowly moving around the table.
Yeah.
Basically, if you activate this, you're not going to expect to activate this a second time. It moves very slowly because it goes against turn order.
Oh, interesting.
So only one person activates the rope a turn, basically.
Yeah. But really, all you're ultimately doing is just giving your opponents more stuff that you control, and then every time Iroh gives something away, you just get that counters that get on your ally go up more and more and more.
Right.
That's
it's also
cute.
worth noting that these are both artifacts, which will come in a little bit later when we talk about the late game. So I want to talk about this final category of cards because there's a ton of these on the EDH rec page. I have decided it is against the spirit of Iroh to give away cards that prevent your opponents from doing things.
Yeah, so this is when you go to like donation decks, this is typically what people first think, which is like, let's give them cards that are actually actively bad to have for them. So Steel Golem is a classic. It's a 3-mana card that says you can't play creature spells. So it's like, haha, I gave it to you, my opponent. Now you can't play creature spells. You have to get rid of this.
You have to figure out how to get rid of this.
Yeah.
Or like Cinder Giant is like a 5/3 that deals 2 damage to the rest of your board every single turn.
Right.
Like these are very powerful things to give to your opponent. But honestly, I find them pretty risky to put in your own deck. They're very bad. And if you can't figure out how to get them off your board, you can lock yourself out of playing your commander.
Right.
But also they feel like they're sort of against the spirit of what the deck wants to be. So I made the decision to leave these out. You absolutely can put them in the deck if that is the reason that you're drawn to a donation deck.
Yeah. Cinder Giant might be fun just because it's fiery. And
it's firebending.
Yeah. But that's 100% the direction you could go with it. But Iroh is more in the spirit of being peaceful, I suppose.
Yeah. So let's talk about the strategy of this deck. The main thing that I was thinking about when I was building this is giving your opponents things that aren't necessarily useful to them. Essentially food tokens, empty, like things when you've used all the charge counters, or reasonably good things like the pumpkin bombs or that
actual
kind of thing.
powerful effect,
Yeah, so you can curry favor by giving them things that aren't necessarily bad for them, so they don't make them feel like attacked or singled out, but do give you this benefit in the early game. And it helps you establish a friendship with a player at the table.
Yeah, because if you give someone the Steel Golem, not only are you making them angry at you, but you're also making them lose the game faster.
Yeah.
So you're not really making an ally. You're actually just making a player that's going to get less strong, and they're going to hate you.
Yeah, and the rest of the table is afraid of what you're going to give them.
Right, and so you're not actually currying favor when you do stuff like that.
Right. So I think part of the strategy of this deck, which is rather slow, is making sure that you're not the threat in the early game.
Right.
You're giving things away. You're making a friend. You're not worried about me. And the engine is very slow. So you're not really giving them a reason to be afraid of you.
Right.
And then just have your blockers for a little while. Once you start making like 4/4 or bigger allies, you're fine. You can kind of hide behind them until you draw a win con like the Scrapper or like Appa. But yes, you're trying to buy time with gifts and disruption to be able to generate a big enough board.
Yeah, and it's definitely a fun strategy, but it is tough, I think, to close out the game. So how do you want it? What sort of like position do you want to get the board to before you sort of try and win?
I mean, ideally, you want to be the second to last player standing. You want to be down to the 1v1 where you've generated a board that can take out one player, but may not necessarily have the punching power to take out the whole table.
Multiple people, yeah.
So a good way to do that is with big goad effects. So this is like Taunt from the Rampart or Disrupt Decorum.
Yeah.
Both of these are going to goad the entire table into attacking each other and leaving you and your board to sort of take over things in the rubble on the other side.
Yeah, there are ways to burn people out as well. Ancient Runes is a really fun, interesting win con, which just makes, during each player's upkeep, Ancient Runes deals 1 damage to that player for each artifact they control. So this actually hoses some decks in the format, which is kind of funny. But just being able to sort of have this out and just, it's kind of like doing your, every single turn everyone takes a little bit of damage, ping, 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 and then get them all the way down.
Yeah, and you're giving away these artifacts that they're food tokens, that kind of thing. But gumming up your opponent's mana, sacrificing food tokens to get them off the board to play around your ancient runes is just such a huge tempo hit. To be like, oh, God, I have to worry. I have to sack this instant ramen in this. Like, how do I get the mana?
Ancient runes,
It's really obnoxious.
Ancient runes is the type of cards that stories are told about.
Yes.
After a commander game. Like, holy crap, I didn't realize this thing existed. It sucks until it doesn't suck. And then it really sucks.
This is also a symmetrical effect, so you do have to be a little careful. You do want those artifacts off your board. You can't just dump your handful of artifacts and then play Ancient Ruins. Not a great idea.
Yeah, not a great idea.
Cavern Horde Dragon is where a lot of this budget is going to, but this is also a great payoff for giving your opponents a bunch of artifacts.
Yeah, this costs X less to cast for X of the greatest number of artifacts an opponent controls. It's 7 red normally for a 6/6, but it's got Flying Trample and Haste, and when it deals combat damage to a player, you create a treasure token for each artifact that player controls. So Omega ramp for yourself just comes in, smacks. Sometimes you're casting this for 4 mana, 5 mana, 3 mana. So.
Yeah, this is a great threat. There's also stuff like Kabira Angel, which is another ally payoff. It says whenever it or another ally enters the battlefield under your control, you may choose a color. If you do, your allies gain protection from the chosen color. Yeah. So it means they're unblockable, essentially. If you're playing against a deck that even has 2 colors, you can play this, choose one of the colors, and then you make an ally and choose the other color. And now all of your allies can attack for free.
And you do have a couple of alternate win cons in here as well. It's similar. It's funny because Katara also had them. It's like these like more gimmicky bracket 2, like not trying to win with an infinite combo or whatever, have to have like something in there to
a couple of cheeky win cons. And I know I mentioned that I don't like giving away stuff like Steel Golem or Cinder Giant, which are like actively negative. But the reason that I don't like giving them away is because they don't kill the player. They just make them mad.
Yeah.
So I have a couple things in here that actually might kill a player. And that's 9 lives is the first one. This is 1 white for an enchantment with hexproof. If a source would deal damage to you, prevent that damage and put an incarnation counter on 9 lives. And when there are 9 or more incarnation counters on 9 lives, exile it. When 9 lives leaves the battlefield, you lose the game.
This is so sweet.
You do have to line this up pretty well.
Yeah.
You want to get some of the counters off of 9 lives. But then you give it away to your opponent and they have to figure out how not to die to this 9 lives on the table.
Yeah, it's pretty sweet too because this is oftentimes the only way to kill someone. It's like, we got to get the 9 lives win condition on them.
Absolutely. So we got to hit them with like a couple of small things just to get this 9 lives off. There's a similar one that is way more expensive, but the flavor's pretty good for Iroh.
How do you play Transcendence? 3 white enchantment. You don't lose the game for having 0 less life. Okay, whatever. Okay. When you have 20 or more life, you lose the game. Whenever you lose life, you gain 2 life for each 1 life you lost.
So in this scenario, you have less than 20 life and they have more than 20 life.
Play it, give it away. They instantly lose the game.
They instantly lose the game if they have 40 or more life.
Hilarious.
So it's only good in narrow situations, but when it is good, this is unstoppable.
Yeah, right? Because you have to get to a trigger with Iroh. He doesn't have to do anything, but just get to that combat trigger.
Yep. There's a final alternate win con is Hellkite Tyrant.
Okay.
This is another 6/5 flying trample dragon, and when it deals combat damage to a player, gain control of all artifacts that player controls.
Give him my food back.
At the beginning of your upkeep, if you control 20 or more artifacts, you win the game.
Nice.
You've been giving away artifacts throughout the game. Hypothetically, you can yoink a bunch back and try and win through an alternate win con. I also really like the dragons in the deck because it's sort of flavorful firebending.
Yeah, I love that.
They learn from the dragons.
In Hellkite Tyrant, I still haven't seen the game won by it yet.
Maybe this is the one.
Maybe Iroh can make it happen.
Or you just hit him with a 6/5. That also
Dragon
helps.
of the West.
So the late game for this deck is a little bit trickier. You want to play pretty cautious in the early game, so you're not in the lead and the scariest one.
This is a really fun build, though.
I really like it.
Iroh's one of my favorite characters of all time.
Me too.
So if you want to play the Iroh thing, do the Iroh stuff.
Let's talk about a couple of the splurges in the deck before we move on to another deck. These are taking up a big chunk of the budget, so if you want to build a more budget version, then you can cut these out.
Yep.
Cavern Horde Dragon is one of them. I think this is one of the better artifact payoffs, so I left it in the deck. But totally understand if you don't want to spend $24 on it. Another one that I was shocked is so expensive.
Yeah, what the heck?
Is Seize the Spotlight is currently sitting at $20.
Why?
This is a very powerful card. It's cool. But like, I don't know if it's $20 cool. But anyway, I really like this card.
It's not a dragon.
It's 2 and a red for his sorcery. It's each opponent chooses fame or fortune. For each player who chose fame, gain control of a creature that player controls until end of turn.
Yep.
Untap it, and for each player who chooses fortune, you draw a card and create a treasure token. So this is a threaten effect that affects all 3 of your opponents. If they choose not to give you something, you draw and make treasure. Great. If they choose draw and make treasure, you're like, sick. That was wonderful. If they choose to give it to you, you give it to somebody else.
Give it to someone else.
Also
and it
hilarious.
stays away forever, yeah.
So I just think this card's really fun and flavorful. And anytime you have a deck where you run a lot of sack outlets or you have a way to redistribute things, these cards get better. So I wanted to mention that.
And the last slot goes to Generous Plunderer, which is a classic. This card, I think, is just like one of the best design cards of all time, to be honest.
So good.
At the beginning of your upkeep, you may create a treasure token. When you do, an opponent creates a tapped treasure token, and then when Generous Plunderer attacks, it deals damage to the defending player equal to the number of artifacts they control. It's also got Menace.
Yeah.
So it will get in, deal that damage, make you treasure, help your friends out, make an ally, but also hurt them at the same time.
Yeah. You could give the treasure to somebody that you like, a little bit of group hug, and attack somebody that you've given away other stuff to and punch them for damage. It's a lot of flexibility on Generous Plunderer. That brings the budget to $197.25.
Again,
very
Rachel.
Similar to Katara.
Right under the $200 amount. That's amazing. Yeah, this is great. I wasn't thinking about building an Iroh deck, and now I'm kind of eyeing it. I'm like,
it's kind of cute, right?
I have like a fun Boros deck. I've got the classic kill people Boros decks.
Yeah.
But, yeah.
This one's cute. And I love the idea of just like giving people a bagel.
Bagel, tea, ramen,
whatever.
Dang, what kind of shop you running here, Iroh? Pretty great. Yeah,
diverse.
You are fun.
So you can check out the full link again in the description below. It's on ARCHIDEKT. If you want to buy it, you can just add it all to Card Kingdom and start playing. So we did build 4 decks for this episode. We've got 2 more to go, including the most powerful of the bunch.
Oh, yeah.
So let us know in the comments what decks you wish that we had built full deck lists for. And if you didn't see the commander that you were interested in us building, check out our commanders episode. The most powerful commanders has like 13 awesome commanders that we go through a lot of the details for. So go check out that episode as well. We've got 2 more deck lists to show you, but first we have to hear a few words from our sponsors. Ugh, you know what's hard?
Keeping up with set releases.
Cooking. I've been trying to cook my own food so I can eat healthier, but it's all been super overwhelming.
Well, maybe you're coming at it wrong. If you're trying to get somebody in Commander, you don't just like give them every card from Magic's history and say, go. You start them with a precon, right?
Yeah, but I don't think cooking has precons.
Sure it does. I just use HelloFresh. They're the #1 meal kit in America, making home cooking easier with chef-crafted recipes and fresh ingredients delivered straight to your door. They've got a huge menu of over 100 options to choose from each week, including new seasonal dishes and recipes from around the world, like their sweet Thai chili pork fillet. And if you're trying to eat healthier, they've got high-protein options like grass-fed ribeye and new greener recipes with 2 or more veggies per dish.
Ooh, mono green.
Yep, they're tastier, healthier, and they even have steak and seafood recipes at no extra cost.
But how do you upgrade a cooking precon?
Oh, easy. Sriracha on everything.
Now that is spicy tech.
The best way to cook just got better. Go to HelloFresh.com/command10FM now to get 10 free meals plus free breakfast for life. 1 per box with active subscription. Free meals applied as discount on first box. New subscribers only, varies by plan. That's HelloFresh.com/command10FM to get 10 free meals plus free breakfast for life.
Hello there! No, not on the battlefield. I'm over here in the command zone. For I am a Loro, ageless ascetic. Well, truth be told, I'm not actually ageless. I just do my best to take good care of myself. But how exactly do I keep my life total so high? The real secret, my friends, is upkeep. And drinking AG1 is a staple of my upkeep routine. AG1 is a delicious daily drink that supports whole body health and wellness. Just 1 scoop mixed with 8 to 12 ounces of water boosts gut health, energy, and more, with 75 plus vitamins and minerals. So while my opponents are scooping to my 75 plus life total, I'm staying 1 scoop ahead with AG1's wellness benefits. And if you want to up your health game, there's no better time than the holidays. AG1 can support immune resilience before crowded flights and gatherings, and fill in the nutrition gaps left by sweets and holiday meals. So there you have it, the secret to my long, healthy life of Commander popularity. AG1! Also, I have an ability that works from the command zone. That helps too.
Head to drinkag1.com/command to get a free welcome kit and an AG1 flavor sample and a bottle of vitamin D3 plus K2 when you first subscribe. That's drinkag1.com/command. This message is sponsored by RAYCON.
I can't believe it's already time to start thinking about holiday shopping again.
Start. Oh, I'm done.
What? But to do that, you would have to have some sort of magical gift that's like great for everyone.
Yes, it's that time of year again, and I always like to remind our viewers about one of my personal favorite holiday gift ideas. It's RAYCON earbuds. I got them as gifts for all my nieces and nephews, and they love them. The audio quality is top tier, but they cost just half the price of other premium brands, so even if the kids lose them, I can get them a new pair next year. Plus, with Black Friday coming up, it's a great time to get 30% off on their lightweight and comfortable new Essential open earbuds. I use mine constantly. Their open ear design lets me listen to podcasts while still being aware of my surroundings at the gym or on a walk.
These are going to be the perfect gift. Thanks, Josh.
See how good things are when you can listen to your surroundings, like me?
Let's see if the noise-canceling ones are on sale, too.
Hey. Black Friday is around the corner. RAYCON audio products are up to 30% off site-wide. From everyday essentials to the latest releases, it's the perfect time to upgrade your sound or get ahead on gifting.
These early deals won't last long. Shop now before they're gone. Go to buyraycon.com/commandopen to save on RAYCON audio products site-wide.
Aha! Psych Rift. Yeah, this deck feels like a 3.
Updating your decks?
No, I'm just sorting them into commander brackets.
Oh, just use ARCHIDEKT. It's the easiest way to get an estimate of your deck's bracket. Plus, you can click the number and it'll lay out the reasoning. It takes things like tutors, extra turns, and land destruction into account, and game changers are all clearly marked. It even recognizes 2-card combos. See? It's saying your deck is actually a 4. It'll be a 3 if you've got Ristic Study.
Huh. Okay, 4 it is.
ARCHIDEKT is the best place to browse, brew, and check your deck's commander brackets. Just go to archidekt.com/commandzone to get started.
That's ARCHIDEKT.com/commandzone.
All right, we are back talking about 4 incredible decks. Let me just take one small moment here, Rachel, and give a little bit of appreciation to Rachel Weeks for... You should be shaking your head the opposite direction. You're going to hate this, but Rachel puts a lot of work into these episodes, and these deck lists are super awesome. I think one of the things that always was challenging for me coming into Magic and playing Magic with friends and introducing to people is giving people opportunities to like play in a way that makes them fall in love with the game. Because when I first started playing, it was overwhelming, it was hard, especially when I got reintroduced to Commander, and I didn't really love it. People buy precons, but they didn't have precons for this episode, so this is it. This is a great way to start if you have the budget for it. So yeah, make sure you check out the deck lists. And someone post in the comments about Rachel. I'm sure you already have.
We tried to make these really fun,
but they're amazing.
And
yes, you.
Yeah.
And I'm here to just add some like sparkles around the edges.
All right, let's talk about this next deck because I'm obsessed.
Yeah, Toph, Hardheaded Teacher, 2 a red and green for a 3/4 human warrior ally. When Toph enters, you may discard a card. If you do, return target instant or sorcery card from your graveyard to your hand. Whenever you cast a spell, Earthbend 1. If that spell is a lesson, you put an additional 1 counter on that land. So Earthbending is a new effect. Target land you control becomes a 0/0 creature with haste that's still a land. You put a 1 counter on it. When it dies or is exiled, you return to the battlefield tapped. So your land turns into a land creature. And then when it dies, you don't lose it forever. It comes back tapped.
Yeah, so there's a lot of words on this card, and I think the first time I looked at it, I was like, weird, Gruul Spellslinger, sure.
Yeah.
And the more I built around it, the more I thought about it, the more that the only line of text that matters on Toph is whenever you cast a spell, Earthbend 1.
Yeah, that's crazy.
That's bananas. Earthbending is extremely powerful, and we're going to talk about sort of a lot of the reasons why, but this became a sacrifice deck.
Interesting.
So this is a lands deck that uses earthbended lands as sacrifice fodder. And I want you to like picture an aristocrats deck. So this is like a Gruul aristocrats deck where all of the creatures that you're sacrificing are bloodghasts.
That's the first time that sentence has ever been said in the history of mankind.
Because Bloodcast just returns to the battlefield for free.
Right.
It's a non-token creature that whenever you play a land, it returns to the battlefield for free.
Right.
That's what these lands are. They're 1-mana creatures that when you sacrifice them, they return to the battlefield for free.
For free.
So they give you a ton of synergy in terms of like, this is good landfall, this is good sacrifice, this is good land going to the graveyard.
Wow.
And you get sacrifice synergies for creatures and lands. It's also non-token creatures was the other thing. So a lot of the stuff that we sort of write off as like, well, we're mostly sacking tokens. It's good here. So I just want to go through how a couple of these things work. Yeah. Starting with the most broken, which is fetch lands.
Yeah, so cards like Fabled Passage, they basically tap, sack, find a land, put it on the battlefield, tapped, then shuffle.
But if you earthbend them, and then you sacrifice them, the fetch land returns to the battlefield tapped. And now anytime you sacrifice a fetch land, if it's earthbended, you get the land you searched for and the fetch land back.
Right.
It's ramp.
Yeah, so you're ramping with each of your fetch lands because of the earthbending ability. Kind of crazy.
Kind of crazy. Mountain Valley is also like sneaky great because it enters tapped anyway.
Yeah.
And the land that you search for comes in untapped.
Oh, that's right.
Yes, so this one puts it onto the battlefield. So these two are the best fetch lands on a budget. Again, we're using a $200 budget here, so we don't have like the craziest mana base that you could have for this deck, but that's already really good. Anytime you can earthbend and you have a fetch land on the board, you're basically earthbending a fetch land.
Yeah, that's sick.
And then, of course, you're like, well, this would be crazy if the fetch land came in untapped.
Untapped, yeah. Spelunking and Horizon Explorer are two effects that do this. 2 and a green for both of them. But lands you control enter the battlefield untapped.
That's the big part.
Yeah, and Horizon Explorer basically has the same text, but it's a creature.
And whenever you attack, you can get a lander. So if the earthbended fetch comes in untapped, now, as long as you can cast a spell and get it earthbended again, you can sacrifice it again, get another land untapped.
Yeah, this deck could probably power out all of its lands really quickly, huh?
Really fast. You can run a bajillion basics in this deck and it would not be enough. So that's already just the first trick. There's more tricks. MDFCs, especially permanent MDFCs.
Oh, right.
Like Pinnacle Monk or Disciple of Freyalise.
Yep.
You can play face down as their land. You can earthbend them, sacrifice them, and bring them back to the battlefield as their front side.
As their creature side?
The Pinnacle Monk or the Disciple of Freyalise.
No way!
So you get a free mana 5, a free 5 mana creature or a free 6 mana creature.
Wild.
Yeah.
That's really cool.
That's the second trick.
Cool.
You could also turn your creatures into MDFCs with Eudora Gravegardener.
Right.
So this is a legendary creature that says whenever another non-token creature you control dies, you may return it to the battlefield face down under its owner's control. It's a forest land. So let's say somebody kills your Horizon Explorer.
Yep.
Well, Eudora says, bring back my Horizon Explorer face down as a land. Now you use your commander to earthbend the face down Horizon Explorer. You sacrifice that. It's back face up on the battlefield as a Horizon Explorer.
Wow, that's wild.
Yeah. Yeah, it is.
Toph doing messed up stuff.
This deck is wild. And I was like, okay, so you want lands with ETBs, right? So like Bristling Backwoods is a desert that enters
Deals
and
damage,
pings.
yeah.
Temple of Abandon, you can keep scrying. But if you have a higher budget, you can get even more messed up cards like Talon Gates of Madara.
Yeah, this is a card that I think is just continually getting better and better in my mind. When it enters the battlefield, you phase up to one target creature phases out, and you can pay for it to put it from your hand onto the battlefield. But yeah, this is a land that when it comes in, phases something out over and over and over again. That's super sick.
So if you can keep this thing earthbended, you can. This is not in the deck right now. It's very expensive. It's like it's like $25 or something. But if you can keep this thing earthbended and you have a free sack outlet, at any point you could sack outlet.
Sack it.
You could sack it, bring it back to the battlefield, phase out one of your opponent's creatures, phase out one of your own creatures, and just
just keep going.
Stuff locked. Urza Saga, also just completely disgusting.
Oh, yeah.
I guess you can go get Zurin Orb. You can go get... if you have a higher budget, this deck goes bonkers. Exactly. So, but we don't. So we didn't include those, but I did want to mention them because gee whiz.
Yeah. Gee willikers.
More tricks. If you start casting spells where the additional cost is to sacrifice lands. Now this cost no longer exists. Crop Rotation becomes a 1 mana, instant speed, ramp spell.
Right, because you get the land back for sacrificing it. Harrow as well, aggressive mining as well, which is like... when I first saw this card, Rachel, I was like, I'm never going to play this card ever, but I want to play it. 3 in red, enchantment, you can't play lands. Sack a land, draw 2 cards, activate this ability only once each turn.
Okay.
This is like the perfect deck for this card.
It's crazy how good aggressive mining is in this deck. This is very powerful. Sacrifice a land, draw 2 cards is exceptionally powerful. You can't play lands is very, very big downside.
Very bad, yeah.
Like you could play this in your Iroh deck and give it away, and it would ruin their life. You could.
But you're tough.
But we're tough. So you're like, okay, so how do you get around the not playing lands part? Right. Well, fetch lands.
Fetch lands, that's
You can already go up lands, no problem.
Right.
And you can already feed this, no problem.
Yeah.
So you sort of don't need to play lands anymore because you're searching them out of your deck, and you can sacrifice lands for effectively free and draw 2 cards. 6 cards in a turn, well, 8 cards in a turn rotation.
Yeah.
If you can
Once
keep earthbending lands.
Aggressive mining is also just such a flavor success with Toph. It's perfect, yeah.
It's such a cool card, and I love that it works here. Let's keep talking. Okay. So creature sacrifice abilities are also crazy. You can skull clamp your lands, and they return to the battlefield after drawing 2.
Right, because they're 1/1s, right?
Yeah.
Oh, God. What is the skull of a land? It's like skull clamp
where
the
are you
grass?
putting
like,
the head?
what? Yeah.
You just draw eyes in the ground and
Just
stick it on
googly
top of
eyes,
it.
throw a skull clamp on it, draw some cards, get that thing back in there.
Tributary Inspector says whenever a creature you control with a +1 counter on it dies, draw a card.
Hey, that's pretty good. That's pretty good.
Spinner of Souls says whenever
I
a
love this card.
non-token creature you control dies, you may reveal cards from the top of your library until you reveal a creature card. Put that card into your hand and the rest on the bottom of your library in a random order.
Yeah.
Incredible!
They're not tokens, they're lands.
What?
Yeah, Spinner Soul is a great card, and it just refills your stuff immediately.
Okay, but how are we getting these things to die? Easy. Land or creature sacrifice outlets.
Yeah, these have been around for a long time. Sylvan Safekeeper and Goblin Bombardment are all ways to basically sacrifice creatures on a stick.
Land sacrifice outlets tend to be cheaper.
Yeah.
Because you're sacrificing your land.
A land, yeah, you don't want to do that.
Like, they would never make Zuranor but creatures.
Yeah.
That's how busted it is in this deck. It's 0 mana, sacrifice a creature.
Gain 2 life.
Gain 2 life.
Get
and
it back.
Comes back. Like, what?
Earthbending is insane, by the way.
It's insane. Like,
Waterbending, firebending, everyone's like, whoa, look about my airbending. It's like Earthbending is like, no, I'm actually the most busted one by far.
Extremely busted. And I wanted, like, the budget on this deck is the cheapest out of all the...
Really?
Yes, it is.
No way.
Because all this stuff is super cheap.
That's incredible. I love
It's
that.
crazy. Okay,
Yeah.
so that's the theme of the deck is we're making lands, we're sacrificing it for value, and boy, what a value. The fact that you sacrificing is supposed to be a huge cost, and the fact that you sacrifice something and it's nothing
you get it
changes.
back, yeah, or you get more.
Like, is nuts, and you can take crazy advantage of that. So let's talk about how you actually play this deck, because it is not easy.
Yeah, so the World Shaper Precon that came out with Edge of Eternities, one of the best precons ever, by the way.
Yes.
This is a very similar deck, but we are not in full colors, right?
Right. World Shaper's in Jund.
Oh, Jund,
so we're missing black. So glad we're missing black, by the way.
Yeah.
Would be insane if we had black.
Yeah, get Rock Monster, get out of here.
Oh my God. Okay. But put this in the World Shaper Precon. It's going to be incredible.
Yeah.
So this has a lot of similarities, but the biggest thing that's the difference between this deck and the World Shaper deck is the World Shaper deck has to draw into more lands.
Yeah.
This one doesn't. It can just keep replaying or keep tutoring lands that it's sacrificing.
Yeah.
So it doesn't actually go down any lands.
Oh.
Like, I found that anything like Crucible of Worlds or anything that lets you play lands from the graveyard, you do not need.
You don't even need them.
Because they don't go to the graveyard.
They're never going to
They
stay
do,
there.
but they come back.
Yeah.
And if they get exiled, that's fine. They come back. Don't worry about it.
Yeah, that's spicy. I love that.
So the fact that you just don't need the kind of draw engines that you needed in the World Shaper deck, like the Face Commander, just means that this is very consistent if you can keep your commander in play, of course, which is always the trick, isn't it?
That's the whole shebang.
This is not entirely without risk, I do want to mention, because there are some board wipes that can bounce your lands.
Yeah, so you can get wrecked really hard in Commander.
You definitely can.
Everyone's had this story happen to them once or twice.
If there's a bounce wipe that only bounces creatures, those tend to hit them. So like Evacuation says return all creatures to their owner's hand. That would count your lands, would return them to your hand.
They're creatures now, yeah.
Most bounce wipes like Cyclonic Rift say non-land, which is great. They're not going anywhere. But there are, like, Raise the Palisades is a very popular bounce wipe that would absolutely hit all of your lands. This is a lot less risky if you have a free sack outlet on board.
Yeah, you want to have your Zernor just to be like, no, I do not want my lands in my hand. I need them to just
sacrifice all of the ones
get them out of here.
that would be bounced, and they're going to come back to the battlefield safe and sound.
You would look very silly though if you get the ball bounced in your hand. But yeah, there are ways to have your cake get smashed.
Yes. So when in doubt, when you're earthbending, you want it to be lands that come in untapped for the most part in case they get bounced, or you want it to be fetch lands or stuff with ETBs. I found that, like, when I was doing it, I prioritized having as many lands earthbended as possible because it just gives you more things to sacrifice. and I would store them until I have like a very good payoff for it.
And then you get it going.
And then you have a big moment.
Yeah, this type of deck like spins its wheels really well. It can just sit there and just like rev its engines and be like, "Hey, everyone, look how cool! Look how cool I am! Look at this! Look at this!" And just go over and over and over and over again. Yeah.
You do need spells to fuel this because you need to be able to keep earthbending things. So there's a few cantrips in the deck that are just 1 mana, draw a card, earthbend a thing, and just to make sure that you can get it started, especially like the turn that Toph hits the battlefield.
Yeah.
But the other way to do it is with like regrowth loops. So if you have 2 regrowth effects, like a regrowth and a Ball Again recovery. You can cast regrowth targeting the Ball Again recovery, cast Ball Again recovery targeting the regrowth, and you sort of have an expensive but chain of spells.
That
means you just
going
don't
over and over and over again.
In case you don't find one of these crazy draw engines, which is possible.
But that's the fun part. You just go.
Yeah.
Toph is spinning plates out here.
So let's talk about what happens once the plates start spinning, because you do need a payoff that actually moves the game forward rather than just be like, I have 47 lands and I can sack them all if I wanted.
Like, their faces are just melting. They're
my God.
What are you doing?
It's so finicky because there's like dice on all your lands and you have to like,
you have to know which ones are bent too. Then come back. Yeah.
Ridiculous. So let's talk about some payoffs that are that actually move the game forward.
End the game. How do you win the game?
So I focused on payoffs that make creatures because they go really well with all of the sack effects. So just stuff like Baloth Prime, which is from the World Shaper precon. It says whenever you sack a land, create a 4/4.
Oh, great. There you go.
And this is 4 mana, a 4 mana creature that does this. So that's really great. Or something like Aki Ember Keeper works really well. It's whenever a non-token modified creature you control dies, make a 1/1 colorless spirit creature token. So this makes you a 1/1. This is only a 2 mana creature that does this.
Yeah, that's really nice. And then Omarthus is really fun here because
I love
lands
that.
are colorless.
Yeah. So whenever you put a counter onto a land, you also put it on Omarthus, and then you sacrifice Omarthus and you can manifest a whole bunch of cards.
Yeah.
So that's really good with your like non-token die stuff. It gives you a lot of stuff to sacrifice. It draws you a ton of cards effectively.
Yeah.
Or you just do landfall payoffs like Scoot Swarm.
Yeah, Scoot Swarm is get your calculators ready.
Yep.
Easy way to win the game. Valka Exploration is also a pretty easy way to win the game in terms of just like you have to have stuff comes off, damage gets done. So like there's a lot of the landfall decks are just like, I'm just going to play lands and the lands are going to kill you.
Yes.
So Tanuk, Memorial Ensign. I've been saying it wrong. Ensign?
Ensign is what I say, but I don't know.
Ensign. I think it's Ensign.
So this is a pinger. It's landfall, deal 1 damage. When your second land enters, you draw a card.
Yeah, so you just run those types of effects to sort of just close out the game.
You can also run aristocrat style effects like Spiteful Prankster that say whenever another creature dies, it deals 1 damage to target player or planeswalker. So this can hit down planeswalkers, which is nice, but it also triggers when your opponent's creatures die. So it gives you a fair amount of damage to throw around. Okay.
Gruel Aristocrats. You did it.
It absolutely did it.
There are some splurgers in the deck because we've been talking about a lot of the very popular and of course powerful effects like sacrificing. So Ashnod's Altar. This is just a classic. It's going to cost you $12, but one of those cards that when you have an Ashnod's Altar, you love this card. You can put it in so many different decks too.
It's ridiculous. Like I mean, it lets you keep casting spells so you can keep earthbending. As long as you have a draw engine online, which there are many, many draw engines that can keep this going. Ashnod's Altar says like, don't worry, you're not going to run out of mana.
Yeah.
Sylvan Safekeeper is another one that I've mentioned a few times. This is sitting at $9.50 right now. Card's great. It's a 1 mana sack outlet for your creatures and your lands that protects your important pieces like your commander. You just have to have it in a deck like this. It is that good.
Yeah.
Finally, it's very easy to skip on this one. I honestly didn't realize it was as expensive as I thought
it's crazy.
it was.
Untimely Malfunction?
Yeah, there's an $8 card that it destroys an artifact, can redirect a spell or make it so creatures can't block. But mostly this is to protect your commander.
Yeah. This deck is fun.
Yeah, total budget is $190.08. So get that Talon Gates of Madara. It's gonna be gross.
Phase them out.
The link is in the Archidekt. I recommend you goldfish this one because
you're gonna need
it's really fun.
Yeah, it's for the type of player that gets really excited about this. You're out there, you're listening, you're going, yes, this is me.
It's so sweet. And obviously you can build this with like all of the landfall staples.
Yeah.
I just wanted to take it in a different direction. All right.
I thought Landfall would get boring over time. It turns out they've just found more and more ways to make it more exciting.
This deck's insane.
Yeah.
I looked at it and I was like, okay, so it's like we haven't even talked about the instant and sorcery thing.
Yeah, right.
Like, if you cast a lesson, it gets 2 counters. Who
Like,
cares?
Sure, whatever.
Sure. I don't need it.
Teach me something tough, sure, whatever.
Yeah.
Yeah,
we don't need to learn anything. We're very powerful. Toph can save the world before she meets anybody. It's
Yeah,
fine.
exactly.
Just skip the whole show. Toph's the avatar. We're done.
Yeah. I mean, I would watch that show. I love Toph.
Alternate universe. Toph's the avatar. All right.
Okay.
Speaking of the avatar.
The one and only Avatar Aang. This is the 5-color avatar.
Yes.
On the front side, it is red, green, white, and blue. For a 4/4, flying, firebending 2. So when you attack, you add 2 red mana that does not leave your mana pool until the end of combat. Whenever you waterbend, earthbend, firebend, or airbend, draw a card. And then if you've done all 4 this turn, you transform Avatar Aang into Aang, Master of Elements, which is a 6/6 flyer. Spells you cast cost Wooburg, less to cast. Take a breath. At the beginning of each upkeep, if you may transform Aang, Master of Elements. If you do, gain 4 life, draw 4 cards, put 4 1/1 counters on them, and he deals 4 damage to each opponent. Oh,
Yeah. Okay. So just to be clear, the front side is 4 colors, the back side is 5 colors. There's a 5-color commander. You can put anything in it. This is a 5-color deck that is using entirely avatar cards. I wanted to build one that was super flavorful. If you really like the show and you just want to put all the characters into one deck, this is how you can do it. Unfortunately, that means your mana base is quite bad. So what I have done is I've included a few cards that are not avatar cards necessarily,
Just to make it work.
but are untapped 5-color lands. You probably want them. It's unclaimed territory. I believe exotic orchards in it as well. A secluded courtyard and command tower. Secluded courtyard and unclaimed territory. You would name ally.
Yep.
Most of the deck is allies. So this just helps you cast your stuff. So I'm sorry it isn't perfect. If you want to cut them, do it. But I wanted to give people some lands that come in tapped. Dear Lord.
Yeah. It's a tough one to build for sure.
Okay, so this is a bending deck. And you draw a card anytime you bend anything.
Anything, yeah. Any of the 4 bending types.
Guess what's the best card in the deck?
Did we just talk about for 20 minutes?
Toph, Hardheaded teaches. Anytime. It's really good.
It's absurd, yeah.
Anytime you cast a spell, draw a card. That's what it says.
Yeah. And you're on the Earthbend 1. When you cast spells, you're bending. Yeah. Toph's great in this deck, obviously.
It's really good. Actually, Earthbending is just kind of the easiest overall.
Yeah. Of the bending types.
Yeah, Haru is whenever an ally enters bend 1. That's also quite good. Earthbending just sort of happens the most on triggered abilities. Waterbending and airbending are a little bit tougher to do repeatedly.
Yeah.
So one of the repeated airbending triggers is Appa Loyal Sky Bison, which is our reveal card.
Yeah, enter attack ability. Every time you enter attacks, Appa just airbends. Or you can make a creature gain flying and yip some.
Yeah, most likely you're using this to airbend something to get that airbending trigger so you could potentially flip Aang, and it draws cards, which is sweet.
Yeah.
The best waterbending card is an uncommon from Jumpstart called Ruthless Waterbender.
And it's black, randomly.
Yeah, I don't know who this is. It's 1 in a black for a human soldier ally. It's Waterbend 2. This creature gets +1/+1 until end of turn. Activate only during your turn. So this says tap 2 creatures or mana or artifacts and draw a card.
For 1, draw a card, yeah.
But this is the cheapest waterbending gets, really, is 2 mana, so you can trigger your commander very easily with this thing in play.
And you want to have the bending effects on cards that aren't instant one-shots, right? So that you can do them again and again if you're trying to trigger Aang to flip to the other side, which is, by the way, very difficult.
It's so hard.
I don't actually think most games with Aang you will flip it.
No, I've goldfished this so many times, and I've come so close.
But when you do,
and it's mostly like on turn 8, if no one has removed anything,
and everyone just says, "Okay, fine, Rachel, just do it, please
flip him." And then he doesn't really do anything until he flips back, which is on your upkeep. By the way. Yeah. Anyway, it's very hard to flip this thing, but it is very easy to draw cards.
Yeah. That's the best part of this card for sure. Yeah.
The front side is very powerful. So we've got a couple of lands that bend. The Fire Nation Palace Fire bends, Bossing Say Earth bends. Both of them are great in the deck, and you can find it with Elemental Teachings. You would have to get 2 other lands and hope your opponents are nice to you.
Yeah, and there are 25 cards in this deck that do trigger Aang. So you are going to be bending a lot. You may not be bending all of them in the same turn, but you will be drawing cards at the very least.
Let's talk about the allies theme because it is alive and well. Wizards was very intentional to make all of these cards sort of work together. So you've got Sokka, Tenacious Tactician, that says other allies you control have menace and prowess, and whenever you cast a non-creature spell, you make a 1/1 white ally creature token, and he himself has menace and prowess.
Yeah, and then Katara the Fearless is like the ultimate ally friend. It's Bant for 3/3. If a triggered ability of an ally you control triggers, ability triggers an additional time.
I do want to mention that if you have Katara and Aang on the battlefield at the same time,
right. How's that work?
When you attack with Aang, he triggers Firebending, draw 2 cards. Triggers Firebending again, draw 2 more cards.
Oh my gosh.
So if you have just Katara and Aang on the battlefield, you draw 4 cards.
Well, that's beautiful because
they work so well together.
Yeah, they're married. Aang and Katara is also in the deck. 3 in the Bant, 5/5. Whenever Aang and Katara enter or attack, create X 1/1 white ally creature tokens, where X is the number of tapped artifacts and or creatures you control. Man, if you have all of them out at the same time, this is gonna be such a nightmare.
Oh my god!
To figure out what's gonna happen.
Allies are so chaotic. They're just people slivers.
Yeah,
they're just people slivers, and it's a little mad. But so there's also an allies sub theme going on here. But let's talk about the strategy of playing this deck, because there is some strategy, even though it's just like put all the avatar cards in it.
Yeah. I mean, this is like, if you are the avatar fan and you just want to play the avatar cards, this is the deck for you for sure.
So first thing to recognize is your commander is very powerful on his front. This is a very powerful draw engine. It's very easy to trigger him and draw 3 cards in a turn. And he can trigger himself. So when he attacks, he just draws a card.
Because he firebends, right? Yeah.
He is so hard to flip. He's really hard to flip. Because waterbending in particular, there's not a ton of like good
waterbending cards. Yeah.
Waterbending cards. And a lot of them are like, when you cast the spell, waterbend as an additional cost.
Yeah.
So it costs you mana to waterbend a lot of the time.
Yeah.
Airbending also tends to be sort of a one-use thing, because it would be really annoying if you can do it repeatedly, and it is. So if you have an airbending effect and it's a single-use one, if you are actually trying to flip him, hang on to it for dear life.
Yeah, don't do
until the turn that you can do all of the things.
Yeah, Earthbending is by far the easiest to multiple trigger him for, so that's just the bread and butter of it. It's Earth, it's bread, it's butter.
I'm also very low on firebending effects because he firebends.
Oh, yeah.
So you don't need to load up on firebenders unless, of course, you want the flavor there.
Yep.
Okay. In this deck, you do have to commit a lot of creatures to the battlefield, to non-tokens, because that's how you bend.
Yeah.
So protection is really, really important. There's a fair amount of protection in the deck. I would make sure that you have it open before you commit multiple things to the board, especially your really powerful draw engines.
This deck also suffers from the, hey guys, it's really hard for me to do this thing, but your opponents don't believe you, but it's actually true.
It's really hard. It's really hard to do. But your opponent your commander's already scary because he's drawing you all these cards. So like, even if he doesn't flip, he's still really good.
Still scary,
it's okay.
Yeah. And it's Aang. You should be scared.
Yeah. There are also a few tutors in the deck to try and assemble all 4 elements if you really do want to do that. There's an Eladamri's Call that has Appa and Aang on it. Yeah. There's I think Tale of Momo is also an ally tutor. There's ways to find allies to get this going.
Yeah, you'll feel like you're in the Avatar universe.
And if you flip him, celebrate, run around the room.
Yeah.
Like, it's really cool. And that should be considered an alternate win con. Like, it may not win you the game, but it's really hard to do.
Your deck did the thing.
That is the thing.
Yeah,
that is really fun.
Sure.
So make sure that you treat that as like the high bar it is to get to.
Yeah, but this is a pretty basic deck in terms of how it wins. It was just through combat. Yeah. Your commander is a very powerful flying threat and will just knock people out of the game if you let him.
This deck can also go wide fairly effectively. It has the Sokka that we mentioned. It has Aang and Katara that we mentioned. And there are a fair amount of pump effects. Beastmaster Ascension, classic, and has the Lion Turtle art. Tale of Katara and Toph says, creatures you control have, whenever this creature becomes tapped for the first time during each of your turns, put a +1 counter on it. So that's an anthem effect when they attack. And then, of course, Katara is a big old waterbending pump effect.
Yeah, and has waterbending on her, so she can actually activate it.
Thank the Lord.
Thank goodness.
Good luck casting her. It's the white blue is pretty tricky.
Yeah,
but
it's tough.
I do think there's enough like non-basics that you can get it together.
Yeah.
There is one alt win con in this deck to mention as well. It's Fire Nation Turret.
It's kind of funny. Because it's like Avatar Aang. The alternate win con would be like, all right, fine, we'll use the Fire Nation.
We'll use the Fire Nation thing.
Win the game, yeah.
And it's not going to be very easy for you to trigger. It's 2 and a red. At the beginning of combat on your turn, up to 1 target creature gains +2/+0 and gains Firebending until end of turn. And red, put a charge counter on this artifact. Remove 50 charge counters from it. Deals 50 damage to any target. Sick. It's Aether Flux, Reservoir, Fire.
Yeah.
But the main thing is there's not a ton of really good places to put his firebending mana.
Yeah.
There's some amount of clue stuff. There's some amount of like flash type effects. But for the most part, putting it into something is just kind of nice. At the very least, this gives one of your other creatures firebending, which draws you a card from your commander on the battlefield.
Yeah, I think this deck is more about, it's almost like as though Aang is there to help you play more cards from Avatar.
Yes.
I like, please draw more cards so you can play them and show them what the Avatar universe is about.
I would call this a bracket 1 deck that can realistically punch up with 2s.
Right.
Because there are really powerful cards in it. This deck can do really powerful things. It draws a lot of cards. But it is highly themed and restricted by the card pool.
Yeah, and being a 5-color deck with the budget as well is going to make it tough to like fully optimize it and all that. Aang is definitely a very fun card, but it's not one that I would be like, you shouldn't be terrified of Aang.
Yeah.
Because they're just trying to bend.
They're not going to flip it. You should be afraid of the card draw.
Yeah.
But they're not going to flip it. Just remove the earthbending thing.
If they do flip it, play the theme song, the intro to the show in your head, run around the room, and everyone celebrate. Yeah. Go nuts.
Splurges are sort of hard to talk about because the set just came out. We're all in pre-order prices, so everything is out of whack. But the most expensive ones are like Appa Steadfast Guardian is really powerful.
Yeah, this card's going to be around in Commander for a bit. I think it's really good. Really, really good card. There's a Zuko-themed Heroic Intervention in the deck that we don't really know where it's going to land, but it's currently sitting at $16.
Yeah, and the Ella Domri's Call that I mentioned is like 16-ish bucks as well. So
AKA a lifelong friendship.
It probably will be a little bit spendier, but it's worth it.
Yeah.
For Team Avatar. Again, the deck list is in the show notes. It's on ARCHIDEKT. So those are the decks that we have built deck list for this episode. Again, we talk about a ton of commanders in our most powerful commander episode. If we didn't talk about the one that you wanted to hear about, go check that out. There's a ton of them there, and they're awesome. Sorry, we didn't build you a full Azula deck. You can figure it out.
No, I'll build it myself. I'll do it.
We're going to talk about the decks that we're building from Avatar after we talk about our sponsors real quick.
Yeah, cardkingdom.com/command if you want to pick up the Avatar product. Cardkingdom.com/command. They have the advanced deck builder that we love at this office because you can just copy and paste a deck list from ARCHIDEKT.
Maybe one of these deck lists.
It's super convenient instead of having a billion tabs open. I really love convenience like that when it comes to deck building and just buying the cards that you need when you need them. And they ship all to your door in one convenient package. Card Kingdom has a great inventory. So shop at cardkingdom.com/command, support the show, get the cards you need, and then get playing.
While you're bookmarking affiliate links, go to ultrapro.com/command to get all the accessories you need. You need playmats, you need sleeves, you need deck boxes, you need binders, you need somewhere to put all of the cards you keep buying. Luckily, Ultra Pro is really good at that. I just bought the full Mana 8 line. I bought one of each color because I have monocolor decks in every color now.
Nice.
So I was like, these are perfect for each of my decks.
Yep.
But if you have a brand that you need to stick to, Jimmy only uses the fire sleeves. It's very, very confusing. And you can support the show while you pick them up if you go to ultrapro.com/command.
And we have our Kickstarter ongoing right now for the Dueling Dragons playmats.
Speaking of Ultra Pro.
Yeah, with art by Justine Jones. Make sure you get in on this. These playmats are super, super awesome. Every time I see them, I just stop to look.
They're so cool.
We have them in the office right now, obviously, because we had some test copies printed out. And I'm like, oh my goodness, I cannot wait for these to get made. So go to the Kickstarter. The QR code is on the screen right now. The link is in the show notes below. There is a limited time in the Kickstarter. When it runs out, the Kickstarter will end. This is your best chance to get the playmats.
Yeah. If you don't know Justine Jones, she's like the dragon.
She's the dragon
princess.
queen.
Like
Yeah, she's amazing.
She did the border for Tarkir, the
Yep.
like wings and stuff. She did the Dragon.
The Secret Dragon,
so
the Kaleidoscope Killers. Yeah,
Very cool.
Her art is incredible, and we're so very fortunate and grateful to have been able to work with her on this art. So get your hands on this exclusive playmat. Go to the Kickstarter, pledge now.
Yeah.
And Rachel, what deck are you going to build from Avatar?
I gotta build Toph. This deck's so cool.
Toph, I know.
It's so cool.
I've been fiddling with like landfall decks for a while. I don't know what I want to do, and Toph is just screaming at me. I feel like.
I've really liked land sacrifice decks because
Yeah.
land fall decks have always sort of just been like, yeah, I know what those look like. And so I built Hazizon, which is like the desert sacrificing one.
yeah.
That's my lands deck right now. But Toph looks to be just like a totally different kind of lands deck. And it's a place where you can put so many like really powerful, really
Yes.
cool cards.
so fun.
So I've been toying with that. I also really like Appa Steadfast Guardian. I think he'd be a really cool artifact commander. We talk about that in the most powerful commanders episode. And I think like using Appa as a paradoxical outcome where you can like pick up all your stuff
pretty sick.
and like
You can
recast
replay
them
it
all from
all.
exile
Yeah.
is really cool.
I'll definitely put Appa into my Beza deck. That's for sure.
Yeah, gross. That's
I will
cool.
probably be building, I think, Firelord Ozai.
Oh yeah,
'Cause
he's sweet.
I just love playing stuff up people's decks. I can't help it. You know, it's just my thing.
How are you building this? A lot of it. We didn't talk about him in the most powerful.
We didn't, yeah.
And people were bummed. They were.
He's a
clear.
villain. We don't want to talk about Ozai. I don't know yet.
Yeah.
There's just so many ways to do it.
Yeah. He's
and
really sweet though.
I just want to do it in a way that doesn't sort of overlap. I think that's my main thing when I'm building decks now is just like don't overlap with other decks too much because it doesn't feel great when you have two decks that are basically the same thing, and then if you just switch out the commanders, you're like, wait a second, it's the same deck. So yeah, Firelord Ozai is for me
That's
right
a cool
now.
one.
Yeah,
That's a cool one.
of course it has to be fire.
Obviously.
Yeah.
Oh, the other one I really like is Avatar Roku.
Oh, Roku. Yeah,
Is
Roku's
really
sick.
cool.
Yeah.
He's the one that adds 6 mana every time a player attacks. I love that you just put it on the table and you're
Yeah.
like, it's madness.
It's
I have
madness,
so
dude.
much mana and everyone's attacking.
Yeah, no one else at this office seems to appreciate mono red as much as you do, Rachel.
I built a lot of mono red lately.
Yeah.
I'm in a moment.
It's great. Go, so cool.
Yeah.
Roku, hilarious.
Also cool.
Yeah.
Norin. I also have that.
Stickers, Norin.
Also good.
Also
Did a whole
good.
episode about it. All right. We're going to go.
All right, thanks everyone for watching. We have to shout out our amazing team here at the Command Zone: Sebastian Salazar, Karina Cruz, Gaurav Galai, Jamie Block, Jordan Britton, Jake Boss, Becky Bell, Rachel Kendra, Eric Lem, Menton Lung, Josh Murphy, Evan Limburg, Sam Waldo, and Josh Lee Kwai.
See you next time.
Bye.